still a dynasty.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Slipping and sliding, he was like a cat. Pop, pop, bang. The Patriots get the win in their final game of the 2020 season, 28-14, over the New York Jets to finish the season at 7-9, which, according to me, but not Paul Perillo, sounds much better than 6-10. It just does. It just does. Welcome into the Patriots Postgame show. I feel better about this win today than I probably should for a team that just finished 7-9 in the season and missed the playoffs 2 weeks ago. And you're playing the Jets, who only had 2 wins all season. There was enough that happened in this game to make me feel pretty good about it. Yeah. I felt pretty good watching that game today.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a fourth preseason game where it's like it doesn't really matter, but there were some positives to take, some performances, and I just liked that it was snowing there at the end. It was just very pretty. Just a nice reminder, hey, we got through the season. It was great that we even had football this year because I didn't think we'd make it through 16 games like we did. So at least that is the positive that I'm taking right now at the moment.
Yeah, so I guess that'd be my first takeaway. That I feel better than I should. Deuce was happy that it was snowing. Paul
when you
is
put
happy
it
that it's over.
Is happy that it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I think that too.
I blew my over-under lead.
You
Not happy with that.
So were you leading in that?
I was.
You were. I think. I believe you lost.
I just said I blew my over-under lead.
Well, but not only did you not finish in a tie, you lost.
Yeah, I blew my lead.
Okay, but blowing the lead could mean one of two things. You either lost or you tied. But Deuce surpassed you.
Yes.
He leapfrogged
I was
you in
two.
the standings.
I was 2-4. I lost.
Oh, all right. Well,
How
what do
about
I get?
that?
Absolutely nothing. All right.
And I tied for the win. You know, it's like the playoffs. It's the last
It's all
game
that
of the
matters,
season.
right?
Yeah, so, it's right there
I'm a
with
strong
Deuce.
3-0 in the six-pack, though, so I will be taking that title home. Where's the belt?
We're going to work on that. All right, so we're going to get to the good, the bad, and the injured, but real first thoughts on this game going away today. Happy that they got the win. I was very frustrated early on. I was watching the game outside, you know, just
for you. I mean, you're a hardy soul.
Just to be hardcore. I lasted precisely until the first third down of the second Patriots drive. And when Cam Newton I believe it was a 3rd and 5, and Cam Newton kept the ball and fell down at the line of scrimmage, I stood up and I said, okay, I'm going in.
I'm good.
I'm going to give it the same effort that they are.
The first quarter took like almost a half an hour to play. I'm like, it's cold out here.
And we still finished at like 4 o'clock. I mean, it's
I
still
couldn't
like,
believe
the
it.
pace
The
up.
second
I thought
quarter
it
was
behind.
pretty quick, and the
Yeah.
third quarter was pretty quick, and then the fourth quarter was like,
Yeah, but midway through the second, I'm like, all right. After that first drive, and they went 3 and out. I was so angry. I'm like, again, here we go. You march down the field on that first drive. You get into the end zone. Second drive, what happens? Oh, that's all we had.
Yeah.
We had that first drive, and after that, the brilliant Jets defense was able to solve the riddle of our offense. Just like
That's one way to
that.
put it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Wow. Let's get to the good, the bad, and the injured. Let's do it right away. Here we go.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
If you were in my toilet bowl, I wouldn't bother flushing it.
and the injured.
You are a gay!
Good, the bad, and the injured brought to you by the good players, the bad players, the injured players. We have names and situations to put on all 3 lists here today. We begin with Paul Perillo, the first good of this 28-14 win over the Jets today at Gillette Stadium. What do you got for us, Paul?
well, I'm going to take a continuation of what's been going on the last few weeks of the season, and that's Sony Michel. I think he has run the ball pretty well down the stretch. I think he's run hard. I think he's maximized the opportunities that he's had, and today we got to see him contribute out of the backfield as well. Let's see, 16 carries for 76 yards, which is a solid afternoon of work. To go with 3 catches for 60 yards, including a 31-yard touchdown. So I thought it was a pretty good all-around day for Sony Michel, but more importantly for him, I think someone brought up in the pregame show, what kind of things might be able to carry over. I think you might have found out that you have at least a complimentary back in Sony Michel. Maybe he can't be your guy, but with Damian Harris, I think you have a pretty good 1-2 punch there. I thought he had a nice finish to the season for Sony Michel.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. First touchdown catch of his career I saw. So that's a nice little footnote for him. Yeah, I thought he was good. Big plays, and that was my DraftKings guy. So hopefully put some DraftKings points up.
Yeah, you guys did well in your DraftKings guys.
Well, I tell you what, every time
Cam
Sony
Newton, I think that's the real story. Well, can I just segue right into putting Cam Newton on the goods?
I wish you would.
I was leaving that for Hardy.
Oh, sorry, I jumped on it. But yeah, I mean, it was a good performance from him. I thought he was getting the ball out pretty well. I mean, some of those, the Asiasi one, the touchdown kind of felt like it was a blown coverage, but I just thought Cam was finding guys that he wasn't usually finding. I'm not sure. I can't pull the stats up right now. The internet's a little bit
21 for
right
30 for 242, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
That's good. I mean, there's no other way you can cut it. That was a great performance by him. I think it's probably too little, too late, but a nice cap on the season for him.
Well, too little, too late for what? For the Patriots, of course. I don't think there's really any chance there. But going back to what I was talking about in the pregame, if you were going to put one game on tape for the season to show to other teams, is there any doubt that this was the game?
Yeah. There you go.
If you're Cam Newton and you're going to show –
Sure.
50-yard run.
I think it's exactly what you had talked about in the pregame, right? Isn't that exactly what you said?
Yeah.
This is exactly what I said. You bust out a 49-yard run on that first drive.
Well, I mean, for you, I think you were saying, you kind of wanted it for him. Let him have something to feel good about.
Yeah.
A little something for the effort.
Right. Well, I don't know. But you get, for his day, as you just said, 21 of 30 for 242 passing yards, 11 carries for 79 yards, 49 yards on one of them, receiving touchdown. What else?
First one of his career.
What? I mean, that's a day. That's a day for Cam Newton. That's what I wanted for him. That's what he got.
He had a big day to close it out.
Yeah.
I tell you what, for as bad as he may have felt about his time here in New England last week, I think today did a lot to balance that out. I don't know if it fixes everything, but that's a pretty good day on the football field.
Set some records. I mean, it's like everybody wants to throw this season away. I mean, he did set some records this year. He did. He passed Steve Grogan.
Not good ones.
Yeah. Well, hey. He'll be in the record book.
But I really
it was a damn good day on the football field for Cam Newton.
Everybody said it all year long. Like, you feel for him after the game and blah 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 blah. Well, he gave him something to feel good about.
There you go.
In his last performance.
All right, so we got that. In terms of standout goods, I mean,
you're really trying to get Nick Folk right now, aren't you?
You can't do it.
No, I'm not going to. All right. Well, I defer a lot of times defensively to Deuce especially, but to both you guys, it seemed to me like Winovich was having a pretty good day.
I had him on my list.
I did too.
Okay,
I thought he was
one
of the few guys that looked like he was interested in playing from the start of the game.
All right, good. I'm glad.
2 sacks, first one since going back a little ways at least.
But I even thought in the run game, a couple of hustle plays, along the line of scrimmage. Very active.
That's exactly the word I was just going to say. And I just, I hope going into this offseason that we can maybe find a way to get him involved. I just think that he has energy and, an athleticism to him that they need. And it's just hard when you say, oh, we just can't get him out there on early downs. We can't play, why? Let's find a way. Hopefully, at the very least, they know they got a third down guy, which are important, but they need 3 down players, and I hope that in year 3 that's the step Chase is ready to make.
All right, so we got both of our DraftKings guys on the good list. Do you want to put J.J. Taylor on the good list, Paul?
Don't.
Okay. What did he do?
How was disappointing.
How was his day?
He didn't really do anything.
He had a bad kickoff return to start the game.
Was that it? Did he?
And I think that was it.
I don't think
this is it. This is my game.
He was out there, but they didn't hand him the ball. I thought for sure he would get some opportunities. This is like the second time in 3 or 4 weeks this has happened to me.
0.
My guy didn't get any chances.
He didn't even have a chance. No
Give him
carries.
a chance, man.
No carries. Well, that's too bad. All right, other goods, Paul. What do you got?
Something? You suck.
I'm going to give Devon Asiasi a good. I don't think it was a great all-around day.
A little slap in the Asiasi.
But I thought the touchdown catch was not an easy one. Little over the outside shoulder. Made a nice play. Showed some enthusiasm and excitement. After it, he comes up with the first couple of catches of his career, 2 for 39, including a 26-yard touchdown. And it was just nice to see, a rookie tight end contribute at least to the offense. So I threw Devon Asiasi out there.
But hey, yep.
Yeah, it's low bar, no doubt. You guys can take
Good
shots
to
at
see.
me later.
No, I had him too. I was actually not going to have him on because of the drop but
even the drop was a terrible throw.
It was. But I'm going to throw Jacoby Myers on there, and we talked about him before the game, and another really solid performance. Great cap to his season. I think he threw his second touchdown of the year. The play that stood out to me, that was the 3rd and 19 catch. Just one of those gotta-have-it moments in a game where he did, after review, get the first down. So I'm excited for Jacoby Myers. I think he's continued to ascend here. He really seems like it's clicking for him, and I think he's a player that you can count on next year. He's going to be a guy that they're going to need to be one of their solid. Hopefully he can stay on the field in training camp, be that consistent contributor that he was the first year, and that was how he made the team. Got a little bit delayed in this second year, but got back on track, and I think it's hard to argue he's had one of the most productive seasons of anybody on the roster.
That fiddle effing around you here on the microphone is boss man Fred Kirsch, sitting down to join us now. You forgot something, sir.
I had a cupcake upstairs.
They're good.
Yeah.
I grabbed
a
couple for the walk home.
I saw him up there. That's I finally got into a new rhythm here these last 2 weeks of stopping up at the blue level before I come down here to watch the second half of the game to grab lunch, but I did not grab a cupcake.
Oh, no.
I had 2 donuts, though. Fred, we're doing the good list right now.
Where do you start?
Well, we
Everybody.
Cam,
Everybody gets
Everybody gets a donut today.
Sony, Chase,
Yeah.
Myers.
I think Wise had a couple plays.
Yeah.
Gunner.
I liked Gunner's punt returns. I think
Yeah.
he's made some strides in the punt return game a little bit.
I mean, it was the Jets, but everybody had a good game to, close out the season.
Oh, absolutely. And for Cam, especially for a guy who is using this, I would think, as much as you can to try and get teams to not look at your entire body of work from the season. But if you want to leave them with a good last impression, or if you want to, use recency bias for somebody you might be auditioning for your team next year, it's a pretty good game to put on tape.
Really?
For Cam Newton?
Yeah, for Cam Newton. But really, if you were a team and that was the best game he's had in a while, would you be like, okay, I'm on the Cam Newton bandwagon?
It depends on how. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of Cam when he just had his best game of the season.
But that's the point. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
I
Yeah.
get it.
And despite the performance, it's still kind of everything that we've seen this season.
Yeah.
Where it all went perfectly. They had the perfect plays at the right time. There was
pocket
no
awareness.
They didn't turn the ball
Look,
over.
I know teams don't work like this, but if you had to hire a quarterback for next season based on one game, out of that game, would you pick Sam Darnold or Cam Newton?
That's a good question.
I honestly think it's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a good
It
question.
could go either way.
Because they both, Darnold looked terrible.
See, I don't think he looked terrible.
I think
he threw the ball better than Cam did.
Oh.
He just let a few get away from him, and that's why I wouldn't take Darnold.
I watched Sam Darnold today, and I said, he sucks too.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Fred on Newton.
Yeah.
I don't think he threw the ball all that well.
He did.
today.
He didn't throw it great, but he threw it better than he has all season. And
But again,
compared to Sam Darnold, I think he threw it better than Sam Darnold.
I think even some of
today.
those, like you
both
mentioned,
of
how
those
wide
statements
open.
you just said are very relative.
Right.
and it still was like,
Yeah, I thought it was a really good, like I said, it was a really good way for Cam to sort of finish it off. I thought, 3 touchdown passes, a touchdown catch, a long run, good for him to have something to feel good about. But
Right.
I even look at the touchdown to Asiasi, there's nobody near him, and he makes him catch the ball over his outside shoulder going away. That was not an easy catch. Yeah. I thought one of the throws out of the backfield, I don't remember which one it was, if it was the Sony, it makes everything more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah.
It just, I think both quarterbacks were erratic throwing the ball today.
Yeah, and there were parts of the game, especially, once you get past the first drive for the Patriots, which was surgical, and they had elements of everything we were talking about. We
50-yard
wanted
scramble.
to.
Right.
But they were also converting on some other plays. They were making it look easy,
Sony ran
as they
hard.
often do.
I mean,
Sony was my on my good list. Freddie.
Sony looked great tonight, and the swing pass. Now he was wide open, but
he made it a little bit harder than that's my point.
Right.
Like,
but
everything.
I
makes
love
it harder.
seeing Sony catching the ball.
Yeah, 3 targets, 3 receptions. Good. I'm happy to see it. But
I just
for
want,
both,
like every time he catches a pass, that's the reaction all of a sudden. Like, have you ever seen him like just drop passes? No. Like, he's not real comfortable in the passing game. Can we all like say that?
Yeah.
But not because of catching the ball. Like, he doesn't look fluid.
No.
As
but
a
the
route
more
runner.
he does it,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Like,
you know.
but I don't think it's like we can't throw him a little swing pass because he won't
those are the
catch
ones,
it.
right,
You know?
right, yeah.
No, he'll catch it. He's got good hands.
well, yeah, give him some time. This is
Yeah.
like on-the-job training.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I'm saying, guy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
fine.
saying,
Come
guy.
on, guy.
Sony.
There
That's
were-
my number one star.
There were a couple of times today when both teams, for as good as we thought some of the goods were, where both teams, you said it looked like I don't know how into this game they really were. Some of the penalties that the Pats took early.
Early they
know.
look bad, but then they
someone-
clean that up later.
Someone on Twitter was talking about how hard Belichick got the Patriots to play the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, they got obliterated Monday night and looked thoroughly disinterested for large stretches of the game today.
Big stretches.
But getting back to Sony, if James White doesn't come back, it would be nice to have Sony as a pass-catching option with Harris out there.
Yeah. Do they like him enough to play him?
I don't
like
think
second
he's-
down.
I don't think
like
he's
Rex?
that.
I don't know.
I mean, I like Sony,
Yeah.
like more, like to throw the ball to him more than, but I don't think he's a pass catching back.
Yeah,
I think he's a lead back who can catch the ball.
And I'm not saying he replaces James White and he's everything James
Yeah,
White
he
was.
can't run routes
but
right
I don't
like
think
that.
he's. I just don't see him as anything close to that.
Oh, no. He's not. James White, I think they said it during the game. He's got the most catches by a running back, I think, in the NFL, not just this season, but in his career. It's some, I forget the actual
Good
stat.
info you brought to the
No,
show,
but it's
Fred.
it's really amazing. Like we forget about it because it's so
really- I
mean,
it's so commonplace.
I mean, I
but what
confuse
he's-
him with Alvin Kamara all the time.
But what he's done over his career is, it's up there in NFL records.
It's both.
It's up there.
I think
That
it-
was both unfair and
I think
unfortunate.
it's a 45.
It's up there.
Someone help me.
What is this?
No, I mean James White's one of the best pass catching guys. I mean, in terms of route running, blitz pickup, option, understanding the concepts of what he needs to do with
But he
option
may not
routes,
be back.
He's very good at that.
Yeah.
we all know that. I mean, I don't know where he stands like statistically, but
Yeah.
we know how good he is at it.
I see. Now I need to look up something on James White here based on something I heard during the game. It was not a. It was an eye-opening stat for James White. Something happened for the first time in this game for him this season.
Targeted 7 times.
It just spoke to like how little he's been able to play due to personal reasons. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, how
much-
underutilized he
how
was.
much he's been
because of the
hurt by
offense.
Cam Newton.
How much he's
Absolutely.
been. Yeah, it was
Well,
not good.
Sony had his first catching TD of his career.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that was an interesting stat where it was Cam's first catching touchdown, then Asiasi's first one, and then
Michelle.
Michelle. Yeah,
Yeah.
those two.
All right. Any other specific goods you want to do, whether they be plays or
I was just going to put JC on. Just
Great one.
I think he, tied the league lead in interceptions with his 9th, and he's just a guy who's been around the ball all season long, continues to make plays on the ball. It's going to be an interesting offseason for him, see how they tag him, what they want to do with him. But he had a great season, and in a season that was kind of down, he was one guy in the secondary who was consistently making plays, and I don't know where they would have been without him.
all right.
Even in the Jones interception in the end zone, what's his name? Who are we talking
JC.
about? Jackson's right there.
Yeah.
Like he's always around the ball.
Yeah, he is. He's one of those guys.
Do we have any other goods that we want to get to? Want to move on to the bads?
Not me.
Moving on to the bads. First, Fred Kirsch.
Oh, I get the bad first. Boy. Like I said, I mean, where do you start with the goods? Bads.
Where do you start with the bads, though?
I don't know what that means.
I thought on Butler. I know he got hurt, but he had a couple. Oh no, Bryant. Bryant had a bad game.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Miles
Didn't
Bryant.
have that on the list, but
Yes, Miles Bryant he had a really tough TD drive there at the in the second quarter.
That series, yeah.
He didn't look great.
No.
Didn't look great.
There
had
were
a bad penalty on the touchdown.
Yeah, I the first thing I had was penalties. I mean the penalties that they had, especially at the
I had
beginning
early
of the game.
penalties because they were sloppy penalties.
Right, and it cleaned it up a little bit, like you said, Paul. But early on, just to stifle drives or to make you think that this game was going to be a long day, literally and figuratively. My God, the first quarter and a half took forever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking
injuries every other play.
Injuries, penalties.
The injuries,
Review.
the penalties, and by the way, when they go to the forced timeouts, in the game for TV, do they not factor in the injury timeouts that they got to take and the commercials they get to run
They
at that
do.
point? I mean,
That's why if that game were closer down the stretch, you would have seen fewer commercial breaks because of that. But
right. I just, I thought of it from a fan perspective too, and I know fans can't wait to get back here. But as a fan experience, that first quarter, watching it, you're like,
yeah, it was tough.
What are we doing?
It was bad.
What
It
are
was
we
bad
doing?
football, and it took a long time to play it. And guys were dropping like flies. All I could think of again, and I keep saying this every week, it's the Fred thing. Fred and I always talk about the bad teams. Just guys just get hurt and they don't want to play anymore, and like that's what I was thinking.
That was like there was like 4 or 5 possessions where it was just punt, back and forth, not doing anything. It was like I'm trying to like find things to write about. I'm like, this is just there's nothing here right now.
I thought special teams would factor in more than they did.
Nah,
It's
not
just,
really.
It's like, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. And then finally the Patriots said, all right, we'll take it.
Yeah, wait till you see what we do with it when we get it. No, we're going to fair catch it, or we're going to try and run it out and get stuffed after 3 yards. Like, okay. Not a lot there. All right, Paul, your first bat.
Yeah, I thought the stuff that you guys mentioned was on my list. I also thought pass protection in general, but Justin Herron, I thought this wasn't one of his better games. I thought he was getting not just beaten wide, but bull rushed right into Cam Newton a lot. There were at least one sack he allowed, but also a couple of times where the hit came and then Cam just was able to throw the ball. Like I laughed. At one point they said, number 86 was in the area. And I said, by the area, do you mean in the stadium? Because it was a good job by Cam just to avoid the sack. I thought Herron in particular in that offensive line. Now, they were missing Andrews. They're missing Wynn. They're missing Shaq. So you expected to have some breakdowns in pass protection, and they did.
Yep.
And they also had like a snap issue with that the ball that hit Jacoby Myers
Right.
on the motion.
Mistiming on the motion.
So some of that, I think, is a product of all the moving pieces on the offensive line.
Deuce, what do you got for your first bat?
Yeah, I mean, I had penalties too, but I also, I mean, they turned it around, but I thought the third down, it ended 3 of 10, which is great, but I thought in that middle portion, where they gave up those 2 long scoring drives, that was kind of where they just weren't getting off the field. And we saw, Chase, I thought, had a better game and had some pressure, and Adam Butler had a nice sack as well. But again, I just don't think they're as disruptive enough, and even Darnold was able to, have some success. I think that when they had those scoring drives in the middle where it looked like Patriots didn't really have any answers, I felt like the third down defense was just, they were getting there, but they just couldn't get off the field.
Yeah, when Winovich wasn't getting there, they were in trouble. And that's why I have Jackson as one of my bads too, because I thought he was the guy on the long catch by Perriman. I thought he was the one who got beat, took a bad angle, and turned it into a big play. And I think Miles Bryant was sort of involved in that, as well. Turned that into a big play. I thought the crossing route to Mims early in the game that I think Mims ended up getting a concussion on and left the game. I thought he beat Jackson pretty good on that. I think listen, the ball's finding him, and he's making a lot of picks on plays that really aren't, to the guy he's covering. Like today, that ball was like a good 10 feet over his head, over the receiver's head, and behind the target, and he's got good hands, and he makes the most. Turnovers are takeaways are takeaways.
Yeah.
And to have 11 takeaways, that's a tremendous season. But, I know this is going to start. It's like, whoa, you gave Gilmore $65 million. They got to give this guy. I would buyer beware a little bit with this next contract. I give him the restricted tender. Let's have him back, and let's see if he can correct some of this stuff.
And this is where watching the game is so important and not just looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
Because these aren't interceptions that are happening because of close coverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not shut-down coverage that's coming up with these interceptions. It's really bad plays by the quarterback. So you have to, not all of them, but you have to look at it. You have to put it in context. Is he an elite shutdown corner? I don't think so yet.
Yeah.
I don't think so, and I don't think he should get elite shutdown corner money. But he might.
Yeah.
He might get it.
It's one of those funny seasons, and I think it happens in all sports, where one guy just has one of those seasons where he just is in the right place and he's making plays. I mean, it happens in hockey, and just the goals are going in some seasons. The interceptions are just coming to you. I don't know why, but I totally agree with.
But that's
and
just
I like him. I'm not.
Yeah, no, I know.
Listen,
I know.
I don't want to misstate this. Like I'm saying, no, he stinks. But I'm just thinking, the way Fred just put that is right. It was an interception that Xavier Howard had a couple of weeks ago against Kansas City, where he's covering Tyreek Hill and he goes up. He's got good position on him. Goes up in the end zone with one hand and rips down an interception. That's not the way that J.C. Jackson's been making his plays. Right. Again, plays are plays. Yep. And Belichick says this all the time. When you have an opportunity to get your hands on the ball as a defensive back and you don't make the play, that's as good as a turnover. When you have a chance to make a pick, an easy catch, and you drop it, he don't drop any of them.
No.
And that's big. So big. I'm not trying to say that he hasn't had a good year. No, I think he's had a very good year, and I like him. And I like to see him back. I'd like to see him settle down a little bit and be a little bit more disciplined.
Yeah,
right. That's all.
I mean, Devin McCourty had 7 interceptions his rookie year as a cornerback, but there's a difference.
Yeah. You're also throwing at him a lot.
Yeah.
For someone who's as good as we sort of make him out to be.
Well, that's just it. If you were a shutdown corner, he wouldn't have the opportunity for that many interceptions.
Yeah, and I know that Howard has the 9-2, and I think he is a shutdown corner, but I just look at those two guys. I think of them in a little bit differently.
It's
Gilmore to me was better this year even than Jackson was.
By the way, Devon Asiasi is going to be joining us.
Oh, great.
Okay, so we will be prepared for that. Who had a long reception today of 20?
You guys don't be afraid to have multiple questions stacked up, just in case I don't have anything to add.
Well, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to say hello, and then Duke's going to have the first question. We're going to bump, and then I'll say thanks.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right.
Okay,
all right,
sounds good.
Little on the air. Do you want a question of Devon Asiasi when we bring him on, Fred?
No, I'm going to let you do it.
All right. I don't. Other bads that we need to bring up here.
I'm kind of like Fred with the good. I don't.
Yeah.
There wasn't a ton of standout good. There wasn't a ton of standout bad.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
No,
that was kind of all I had, and I thought they turned it around. It was really just those, couple drives in the middle. I'll put one more thing on there. It happened all season long. The drives right before the half. All season long that's been a problem where they give up these long scores right before halftime, and I thought that kind of reared its ugly head today a little
right
bit.
Right after
with that
halftime
drive.
too.
Yeah,
and
and
that's also been a problem.
Yeah,
second drive of the game, I could put on the bad list every game for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
it's just the second drive. They marched down the field in that opening possession, and then up 3 and out. No, that's all we have.
Yeah, and that's why the result, it says what it says, 28-14, but again, it's just it doesn't really feel all that different than any of these games. It's just that today, when they pulled out the trick plays, they worked. They finished in the red zone. They didn't turn the ball over, and so there's the formula. And this time they were able to get touchdowns. A couple weeks ago, it might have been 4 field goals.
And getting the takeaways too, because I think if the Jets don't turn it over the 2 times, it's probably. This chance we're still up there. It's probably still 14-14.
Oh, don't. Injuries.
There were a lot.
Yeah. Adrian Phillips was the big one, which really just bummed me out because we talked to him this week, and Ryan Hannibal had asked him, how are you feeling this year? And he's like, it's crazy. I've played more snaps, had more stats than I've had all this year, and I feel great. So hopefully I can just make it through one more game. So, of course, he gets hurt. Feel terrible for him. Bummer way to end.
He's got the hip.
He's got a hip.
He's got a hip.
So, I don't know. Hip I'll take, unless it's Bo Jackson, but not a knee. Demir Bird got croaked. I mean, that one, you could just see it kind of intersection point.
It's like they almost just stretched his neck out.
I was so afraid when he rolled over.
Too.
I didn't want him to move at first, but okay.
It didn't look good. Adam Butler had the thigh. He did return though after that, and Justin Herron had an ankle. He went out, and Corey Cunningham went in for him. So I think those were the 4 I had. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
We could tack an extra hour onto the postgame show and do the Jets injuries in the first quarter.
Oh, you are correct.
Becton,
oh my God, those guys. those guys were in Fred Kirsch mode throughout.
You know what?
Man.
Some of that is, I think those are cold injuries. It's like, how it hurts more
Well, and
when
it's,
you like hit
it's
your
also
hand,
like I get a roster bonus for starting the last
game.
I'll start it and then I'll go out.
My
See?
shoulder, it's broken.
Yeah.
It's the Fred Kirsch theory. I'm telling you, it's the rightest. It's the rightest thing he's ever been. Because you see it every
I'll
week,
get my start
every
in.
year rather, every year.
Well, Fred,
then
I'm happy to say you were not right in one of your assessments of this game earlier in the week when you said, and I agreed with you, it felt like it could be like a 12-9 football game. There was a little more action than that. We had a lot of touchdowns out
We
there.
had
especially
touchdowns
from the
instead of
Patriots.
field goals.
Yeah.
I would have thought we would have
Touchdowns.
gotten a lot of field goals
I
today.
thought so too.
It
but
looked like that when it was 7-7 for the longest time, and then it just kind of broke loose.
it kind of busted open a little bit. Let's go to your calls here at 855-PATS-500. You can also email webradio@patriots.com. Eric in New Jersey, you're first up to lead us off here on the Patriots Postgame Show. What's up, Eric?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I think the offense finally put it together after 13 weeks too late. But moving forward, what did you guys see? I mean, not much you can take away from playing a bad football team, and you got to see some of the young guys out there. I'm anxious to get this off season started. So I mean, let's peel back the layers and where do we think? Obviously, I think the front seven, you got to address that. And yeah, I think when you guys mentioned on J.C. Jackson, I think you might even have to overpay. I think losing to Chandler Jones and look what he did with the Cardinals kind of bit us, in the tail run. We still haven't found that pass rush yet, but I'll take it off the line, hear your questions, and best of luck. Tune in this week. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Eric.
Was there a question there?
Well,
Players you feel good about, excited about, kind of taking in the offseason?
you see, there's a contradiction right there at the beginning where he says, finally figured it out. The offense a little too late, but, what can you really take away from the Jets? Here's what I say, and I have a tendency to stick with the first, because this team has played other bad football teams this season, namely in Denver. And when they played Denver here at Gillette Stadium, they couldn't move the ball offensively. So I give the Patriots credit for, did they figure anything out offensively? I don't know. But they scored offensive touchdowns today.
Yep.
So I will take that, and I will not say anything like, what can you really tell against the Jets? Nope.
But
you don't have that luxury this season.
But you're not drawing any conclusions from
Right.
I'm not drawing any conclusions.
Right. It's against a bad team, and it's a one-off.
on week 17 when a lot of guys have checked out.
Right.
They did
if it
good
had
thing-
happened,
they
if it
did-
had-
I think
like first of all, Denver's a hell of a lot better defensively than the Jets are. But
Okay.
but
they did
but
good
I'm with-
things
I'm with
offensively
Fred.
today that they have not done in other games.
Yeah, like I said, they ran 50 yards on a scramble and they threw a ball back to a quarterback for a touchdown. Otherwise, you have 14 points. Like this is what I'm saying. This is what you need to do to score points, even against the worst team in football.
See, now I don't feel that good anymore.
Like
what
you
he
shouldn't
does.
feel really good about anything that happened offensively today. Other than, like I said, I think Sony Michel is worthy of being right with Damian Harris in that backfield next year. You want to have Harris be the lead guy? Fine. I agree. I think Harris looked better.
Yeah.
But I think the way Michel ran down the stretch the last month of the season or so, I think he's shown that he can be that guy. If Harris needs a week off,
Yeah.
he's going to be fine. You don't have to worry about it. Wow, Kyler Murray going to the locker room early in that Rams-Cardinals game. That's my first red zone of the day.
Didn't even break stride.
But I think Michel, and I've been critical of Michel, so I don't want to. It's not like he's one of my little bobos here.
Yeah.
But I think that the way he ran the last month shows you that he's worthy of being in that backfield with Harris next year. And who knows? Maybe, as Fred said, maybe he's more comfortable catching the ball, and he sort of softens that blow of losing guys like Burkhead and White if they in fact do lose both of those guys.
Right.
Yep.
You could take that away, but to me, I'm looking more at the last 5 or 6 weeks as opposed to today.
Yeah, and I put Myers in that too.
Myers
Just
also,
he's been
absolutely.
consistent. He's been consistent, and that's
I want him back as a third or fourth receiver.
Yeah, I mean, and like people say, oh, is he ever going to be a one? I don't really get what that ever means. I'm like, he's a reliable, guy who's, making strides, and it's clear that you've seen plenty of guys come through here and not make any strides at all, and he's one that really seems to be getting it. So I think when you consider what we have, he's another one that it's going to be good to have him back, and there are some pieces here.
Well,
Mike, what they say when he's a one is 6 for 68 yards isn't one. Like, that's a good game when you have another guy who has 100 yards receiving.
Right.
When he's your best guy, and he has been their best guy consistently the last 8 or 10 weeks, you have the offense that they have.
All right, let's
which is to say non-existent.
let us go to our guest here who joins us now after the 28-14 win over the Jets today. Devon Asiasi, thanks so much for joining us here on the Patriots Postgame Show. You've got Hardy, Mike Dussault, Fred Kirsch, and Paul Perillo. Devon, great game today. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, Devon, obviously, big touchdown for you. How did it feel? I know it's been such a challenging season for you on a number of levels. What did it feel like for you to get that catch in the end zone and score here and wrap up the season that way?
Oh, man, that first one definitely felt good. And, it felt very good being just ending the season off with that and ending the season off on a positive note. So, it was definitely a great feeling.
What was it like, heading into this last game? Obviously, week 17, both teams, were eliminated from the playoffs. How difficult is that what did you experience? I guess I'll ask you in the locker room this week. What was the preparation like? What was the mindset like heading into the final game?
The same as every week. We got a lot of competitors in that locker room, and guys that'll go out there each and every day and work. So. We know that, every weekend is an opportunity to go out there and showcase and get better. And on top of that, it's a greater purpose for everything. We're playing for our families and everybody back home and for ourselves as well. So, everybody's a competitor. Everybody's a competitor. The approach this week was the same as last week, and I felt like we got better this week. Sure.
We were talking a lot here already, Devon, about how good it must have felt for Cam today to have the type of day that he did. Did you feel that as a team also, kind of rallying around him and feeling good that he was able to go out there and have a good game here this afternoon?
Oh, definitely. I feel like, everybody, played a key role into everything. And, Cam definitely, did his thing. But all across the board, I think we all, executed our assignments to a T, and obviously there's room for improvement, but, I feel like we all rallied around each other, and Cam being, our leader and the guy that we follow, he's always beaming with that energy, and it's hard not to follow a guy like that, so it was just great to be out there having fun and running around with those guys again.
Devon, how does it just feel here, last game of the season, just to kind of wrap things up and be able to put kind of an end to your rookie season and maybe start to look forward a little bit to an off season and being able to kind of reset a little bit?
Bittersweet. I think we all wish that we could have, had a different ending to the season. But it is what it is, and we got to move. We got to take the lessons that we had in this past season and push it forward. I feel like we ended on a positive note with this win. Definitely things to build off of. Definitely things to improve. But in this offseason, I know everybody's going to approach it in attacking mode and have that mentality of getting better each and every day and coming out with a different result for next season. So,
Devon, I know the game just ended, but you personally, have you already started thinking about the offseason and what you want to do to get better? And what is it that you're thinking about? Here's how I want to get better.
Oh, definitely. I think now that we just ended that last game, and I think the idea is always to improve. Always to get better. Always seeing, what advantage you can have against your opponents, next season. So, if that's for me, extra studying on the film, technique work, and things I can improve on, that I've seen in the past in this season. But my mindset is just growth. My mindset is getting better and having that confidence going into the next season and getting those reps, obviously, as well in our seasons. And just getting better each and every day and improving and being ready to come out next season and play, So.
All right, Devon, I know that, you're just a rookie and you don't have a lot to compare it to, but just I'm wondering, with the season is over now, just how challenging it was to sort of go through in such a, strange situation, the way all the protocols were with the coronavirus. Just what kind of challenges did it present for you guys, and what was it like playing all year under those circumstances?
Man, it was definitely uncharted land for everybody. It's a situation nobody has ever been in. So I think, we leaned on each other a lot, to get through those situations and get through this whole season. And, I think that we did that very well, and like you said, the protocols, everything was just so different this season, off kilter. So it's, I think the way we approached it and the way we handled it, was definitely something admirable. But you know, it's obviously tough with all the protocols, but, you know, I felt like we had a lot of growth this year. I felt like we got better, you know, and there's definitely lessons that we can, you know, apply to next season and get better and improve.
Well, Devon, chances are we won't get a chance to talk to you until the start of next season. But
go get a vaccine.
Yeah, go celebrate your win, celebrate your touchdown, celebrate everything. It was a good win today, Devon. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, sir. Go Pat.
All right, there we go.
Thanks, Devon.
Devon Asiasi joining us here on the post-game show. 28-14, the final here today.
Fred getting a laugh there. I like that. He got him. Sure.
I liked it when Paul set up with, I know you're just a rookie. I'm like, wow,
that's not what I meant. I meant like
actually,
but it was just like
you
dripping
can't
with
compare that. Like I was thinking of that question to ask whoever we had on after the game, and I was like, geez, even the one question I had I can't ask now because we have a rookie. There's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. You're just a rookie, so you don't have to compare it to anything.
The way you phrased it, though, it came off sounding like, I know you're just a freaking rookie.
I know.
I didn't say
He's like,
that.
who's that Perillo guy?
Yeah.
Well, I also like, you know,
Paul Pillow.
we start off by saying how, you know, we explain. Well, I don't really have any questions, so you go. Well, you know, I'll bring him in. Then Deuce will ask then Fred. So then we go Deuce, and then Fred just sits there.
Fred said
I guess I'll ask a question.
Oh yeah, Fred didn't. But Fred said
I warned you.
He wasn't going to have a question.
Right.
Fred had one more question than I thought he was going to have.
It's typical.
And I thought it was a good question.
Yeah, great.
Button up.
I don't know.
I just hate that. That's the
Paul
most
never met a question he liked.
It's the most miserable 5 minutes of my week.
Oh, stop it.
It's unbelievable.
Devon Asiasi was a
What a curmudgeon.
Not
What
because
a
of Devon
curmudgeon.
Asiasi. I don't think
He
they
doesn't
want
like
to do
asking
it.
players questions.
Not in that situation. No, if
I don't
we're in
like
the
it.
locker room and we're asking games, that's different.
You're so right. It's so
It's
much
so
better
painful.
when you're in person. You can have
Talking on a phone sucks anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
like they don't want to do
I know.
that.
Well, they don't want to do
That's
it,
all I'm
but
talking
But you make
about.
the best of it.
Well, he's just a rookie.
We do
He
make
doesn't
the
know.
best of it.
But whether
we
it's
ask nonsense about go get a vaccine.
That was good.
He
That was
laughed. You got to keep it
That was a good
light.
joke.
whether it's a reporter or an athlete, it doesn't matter. There are so few people who give good phone. It's like an actual acquired thing, and you have to.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah.
Well, it is a little dirty, but I mean, in order to project your personality and have it's tough. It's tough to do.
It is.
We really
They
appreciate.
just
him
want to
taking
get
the
out of
time.
there.
Oh, right.
Well, that's kind of my feeling. They don't want to be dealing with us. They want to just get out of there.
All right. Well, we let him go, and now he's going to go celebrate.
Yeah.
All right. You'll get to go
Plus,
soon
you
too.
get the PR guy tugging at his sleeve. Okay, you're done.
Yeah. You can just hang up now. Even if they're mid-question, you can hang up. You're all done. Let's go to Dave in Raleigh. Oh, we're going to break.
Be afraid to pay attention.
No,
Ooh. Wow, Paul just bing, bing, bing.
talking to me, pay attention?
Yeah.
When was I told to go to break before that?
Matt's been telling you to take a break for like 5 minutes.
Is that the first time you told me in my ear just now? Well, I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you over Fred.
Hence the pay attention.
Don't be sensitive.
I couldn't hear you. Hey, you know what? This is my unofficial audition for next year too. It's not just Cam.
No, you're right.
This at some point during the show today, Fred will officially either
Still up in
extend
the
to me
air.
the offer for next year or not.
Oh, it's an open invitation.
That's
Are you
how
kidding
it-
me?
No. I think that might give us some drama here the last hour and a half of the show.
Will I be extended the offer to do pre and post again
Stay
next
tuned.
year?
Has he done enough?
We will.
Has he done enough, Deuce?
I don't know. We'll find out after
I'm-
the break.
Well, Deuce slipped me a note, Fitzy. I don't know what that meant.
Has he dropped
murder me.
enough? Has he dropped enough calls during the course of the year? Has he done enough?
We really have to go to break.
Okay. Sorry, Matt.
Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan. DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots Game Day.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I blacked out. What happened? The Patriots win?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
That's going to hurt my chances. Didn't go to break in time. Matt's mad at Marine. Matt is mad at me.
It's all falling apart here.
What are we going to do? We're going to go to the phones. What we're going to do, we're going to go to Dave in Raleigh, North Carolina. Dave, thanks for joining us here on the post-game show after the Pats get the win. Final game of the season, 28-14 over the Jets at Gillette Stadium today. What's up, Dave?
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for a great season behind the microphone.
Well, thank you.
Just want you to know that we appreciate all that you do.
I appreciate you calling in, Dave.
Thank you. I want to talk about Cam, and this is my thoughts on what they should do. I think he deserves a chance to compete for the starting job next year, but obviously there's a lot that needs to be fixed. So maybe you offer him a minimum contract. He says he likes it here, and say, okay, so the slate's clean, and whatever you do, maybe you pick one up in the draft, or not sure who number 2 would be, but give him a chance. Maybe he can fix his footwork, or maybe he can learn how to read a defense. I don't know if that's in the cards, but I don't know if that was a comment that the Jay Feely made during the broadcast today. Is like, well, he's really learning how to read defenses, and I thought, well, hadn't he had done that in South Carolina?
I heard the same thing, and I thought the same thing. You've had a long career, and you're still learning how to read defenses.
Can I let me just ask it this way? Like, why do we feel like he deserves the chance to come back and fight for the job? Like, what has he done that earned that chance?
I think because he's shown some flashes.
What? When?
Here and there. I know he's done a lot. Throws the ball into the ground a lot, but he only did that once today. And so,
he threw himself to the ground.
In stride. I don't know.
He played an entire NFL season and threw 8 touchdown passes.
Yeah,
an entire season.
Listen. He's worked hard. He's been a good soldier. He's done everything they ask.
Yeah.
Do you really want another season of this? I don't.
And Dave, I'd be with you if they literally can't find a veteran out there, if they can't swing some kind of a deal for a trade. Then
I'd rather have 2 other guys that I don't know the identity of right now fighting for the job.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's done anything to earn the
Paul,
right to fight for the job.
I'm kind of with you. Like, if he's willing to come into camp without a contract,
I don't want
and
him.
just show up and
it's like Kramer when they had to fire him and he didn't really work there. That's what makes this so hard.
H&H,
right? Yeah. Fred knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Kramerica. No.
I would say I just don't see what he's done. Like, I think we all agree we don't want him back.
Yeah.
But I don't see what he's done to warrant a chance to come back.
Yeah.
Even a chance.
Cam, you're fired. I don't even really work here. That's what makes this so difficult.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the hard part is like Fred said, it's just he's a good guy, and people like him, and he has that kind of star quality about him, so you feel like he should be good, but he's just not good anymore.
And he's a Pied Piper, so unless he's starting, I'm not sure he helps your team as a guy sitting on the bench.
Yeah, who's going to lose
with a lot of influence.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. He's a Pied Piper. What was the evidence that he did anything to help in that regard?
I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, but
I'm saying good.
Yeah.
People like him. I would say that. I think.
Yeah.
But for all of the credit that he's given as being a good leader, how did that work?
How did it manifest into anything good offensively?
I'm not saying it did. Obviously, it didn't. I'm just saying that.
No. That wasn't really directed at you individually.
Yeah.
More so as the question.
Sometimes those personalities, they're very positive.
Yeah.
When you're winning and when he's the captain, but when he's sitting on the bench, sometimes those personalities can actually be a negative.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to cut some guy too, or want to get rid of a guy when he's going through adversity and he's a jerk, or has a scowl on his face, and it looks like he's taking it bad, and it's just easier to not like him. What?
You can keep putting it on me.
It's just I hear the people they
want him.
They like him, but
it's just
he just KP.
I can't do this.
KP.
I just don't know how anyone could have watched the 15 games that he played and said, yeah, I think he should come
Sign
back.
me up. Sign me up
Well,
again.
it's the same group of fans that we heard from periodically throughout this season would call in and say, you guys are being too rough on Cam. Cam's doing everything. They are. Look,
got no
and
weapons.
whether it's, Dave in Raleigh, North Carolina there, or, the caller we had from Houston a couple of weeks in a row.
Yeah.
If you're a Cam Newton fan, you don't have to explain it. You don't have to apologize. You like Cam Newton, thinks he deserves a chance with every team. But based on what you saw here, and it's not just looking at the numbers, but you can do that too. You can look at the numbers week in and week out, or you can watch the games. And if you're doing it objectively, either one of those is going to point you to the same endpoint, which is you got to do something else at quarterback.
Listen,
You gotta do something else.
I'm Homer Fred. I always lean toward the benefit of the doubt for a Patriot player, but I just can't do it here.
No.
Can't do it.
No. Let's go to Alex in Chicago, joining us now on the postgame show. What's up, Alex?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
So first of all, I want to say I'm really disappointed. None of you guys ever put Jake Bailey on your good list. And
He's been on the good list many times.
Yeah, he's got a permanent place on it.
He's been on the good list many times this year. Absolutely. Today was not one of them with a couple of touchbacks, but he's been on the good list probably 5 times. Would you guys? I mean, there were some games that they had that he was like, him and Folk were the only guys on the good list.
Yeah, I would say he's been on at least 3 times. Sure.
Yeah.
He's my favorite player by far. I just love the guy. I love him in interviews. He's really cool. He's the only player that's been consistent all year, I feel, for us, honestly.
When have you ever seen Jake Bailey interviewed? Does that happen a lot?
Once a month.
I watch the Patriots on YouTube and stuff like that. He does like a couple, 4-minute interviews here or there.
All right.
My question is, it's sort of just like a general Bill Belichick question. And I feel like one of the reasons Bill Belichick has been so good every year is because if you play for him, right, if you're a player on that team, in the locker room, or even a free agent, you just know every single year you have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. You come to that team, you're like, okay, we can go to the Super Bowl this year. We can go to the Super Bowl next year. How much do you think he's lost in that locker room in terms of allure or presence? Because he doesn't have that anymore. And I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with Brady even. Maybe it does. But without that sort of internal feeling that this guy can get us there every single year, do you think players aren't really incentivized to play as hard or put in as much meaningful work for him as they did before? Because I feel like that was a problem this year, like a very internal problem. Just watching this team, I just didn't feel that sense that these players really felt like they're going to go anywhere. And that's what I'm worried about most for next year. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks, Alex.
It's a good point to bring up because as you lose more and more of the veterans, like McCourty, there's no memory. Yeah. All those memories go when they go. And so who's left are people who didn't have success here. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes tougher and tougher to get that message across. And I don't care who it is, Vince Lombardi, Paul Bear Bryant, when the team stops losing, the message stops getting across. And that's the thing. That's what ends a coach's career.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but it's a good point to bring up.
Yeah, I think that the point is a little bit different. Now, I definitely agree that without Brady, there was probably a loss of belief among those veterans of just how good they could be this year. I don't think there's much of a question that if you had gotten these guys, honestly, it was it's going to be a little different without Brady here.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think that manifests itself into any less preparation or effort. And that's where he was going with that, was like these guys. That's what he saw this year was a little
not
less
this year, but over time,
a little less preparation. I don't think you'll see that at all. I think you're dealing with different guys that are in different stages of their careers that have different things to prove. I don't think if you're asking, do I think they're going to be able to get as many people to come here as normal? And I'm talking about specific people. No, I don't. Yeah. I think that there's a certain kind of veteran who picks and chooses his spot based on where he thinks he might have the best chance to win. And I don't think you're going to get that anymore. But that doesn't mean you're not going to get guys that want to work and try and put in the effort and prepare and do this. Like young players coming into this program, Fred's right. There's going to be fewer veterans around that can tell them what they used to do, but they'll figure out what they have to do.
They'll
You know,
figure
when
out
they're
what they
here.
have to do, but we've heard it from everybody. This is a tough place to play.
Right.
And
It is.
It becomes a lot tougher when you're not winning.
Right.
And then it's like, why am I putting up with this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. And they may leave, and you
where's-
have to cycle
right,
it over
where's
again.
the
That's why
payoff?
Bill is always turning the roster over.
Yeah, I specifically asked Adrian Phillips about that this week because I think he's one of those veterans who's kind of come in here and assimilated into that, and he said, I can't really put it into words. It's just different here, and and he really seemed to just appreciate how they do things here. So I think you'll always have those kind of players. I think but Paul's right along those lines of maybe a veteran who was a superstar. Maybe they got a little bit of an attitude problem, but they're willing to put that under wraps because they can catch balls from Tom Brady. They're not so much coming here because they want to bust ass and work for
I'm
Bill
going to
Belichick.
put my ego over here
those
because I
guys-
haven't won and I'm in year 11.
Yep.
I'm going to go there.
Not those guys.
I don't think you're
anymore.
getting that guy.
You'll get an Adrian Phillips who's a under the radar guy who's just been
Or
dying
you
to
draft
play
some
kind of
kid
football,
who's
or you
just
gotta
looking to
draft
fight his
somebody.
way into
Right.
the NFL.
Yep.
I think that that's going to be unchanged.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Adrian Phillips said. He said the mentality here is never going to change, and I think that to agree that you bring up Bill, I think it starts with him. I think it starts with his work ethic and the amount of time he puts into it, and pop quizzes in the hallway and all that stuff that the players have talked about over the years. That sets the tone. But there's no question you lose those McCourtys, those leadership guys. I mean, maybe you bring Hightower back next year. That's that'd be a nice boost to that leadership. But there's no question they've got to find that kind of next level of leadership.
Kevin in San Francisco now on the Patriots postgame show after the 2-touchdown victory over the Jets today. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, boys.
Hey.
So before we get started, I just wanted to say thanks for a wonderful year. With all the losses that we've had, having the pregame and the postgame has been fantastic to kind of unwind instead of having to smoke a joint. So
or both.
It's you guys have done a great job. I really want to say thanks. So
thank you.
One of the things that I was really happy about today, obviously, was seeing Asiasi get a touchdown. I know it's small measure for the year, but it was good to see. And 85 more seasons, and we're going to be right where Gronk has for a total touchdown. So that was really positive. But anyway, I had a little bet I wanted to propose to Paul, if I could.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be picking around 15 or whatever, and whether if they lost, they might have moved up. Doesn't really matter. My bet is this, and so if they move up, if they move up in the draft, I will buy the Patriots Unfiltered team a $500 gift certificate to the restaurant of their choice. Use it as you will. Okay? And I'm a gambler. I don't welch on my bets. I mean this.
Can you get it?
So what's the
if they drop out of the first round, or even just move back in the first round, you have to wear a Boston College hat for 2 shows. Are you willing to take that bet?
Wait. The bet is that if they trade back,
trade up.
No, but my part is if they trade back, I lose. I'm not. I would never bet against them trading back.
Or standing pat.
Yeah, but take one for the team here, Paul.
I got to wear
Take
a
the
BC.
bet.
I got to wear a BC hat
for 2 shows.
Paul, I'll tell you what. I know you hate BC that bad.
Guy.
It's my alma mater.
Guy.
Just wear it for one show. One show. How's that?
I'll wear. How's this? I'll wear it throughout the off-season shows because I'm a good sport.
Off-season.
But I have to tell you, I like your odds.
Okay.
But I will take the bet on because Fred guilted me. I will take the bet and I will wear the BC hat only, not shirt, hat, and I'll wear it all the off-season shows. Okay.
You know what? You are a true sport, Paul.
How about a BC tank top?
Just please, no, Fred.
I don't think anyone wants to see that. Go put your singlet on.
$500 gift card. Kevin, what do you do for a living? Just out of curiosity.
He's just sure he's not going to.
He's a BC alum. What do you think? He's on the dole.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting those checks from President Trump. But seriously, I love the bet, Paul. Thanks for being a sport, and thank you guys. You guys are the best. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. All right, there he goes. Probably a hedge fund manager, consultant,
doing something a lot more valuable than this.
Moving up in the draft. I mean, it is somewhat of a unicorn in terms of Patriots and how they generally operate in the draft. Do they have much of a choice, though, if they're unable to find that veteran quarterback in the offseason? They're pretty much going to have to.
Well, you know what's going to happen. So they win this game, and maybe they're picking 15, and people are going to do the math. And if they had lost it, they would have picked at 13. And at 13, someone's going to take somebody who's going to turn out to be great. Oh, they could have had him. You know that's going to happen.
But you know what else is going to happen? They'll pick someone at 15, and someone at 16 will turn out to be great, or 17.
Right.
Like you're going to have a chance to pick a good player.
Yeah.
Let's go with Spee in Fresno. Spee, our buddy, what's up?
What's up, Fred? Hardy, he gives tremendous bones. You got to bring this guy back for a fourth season.
We'll see.
Working on it, Spee.
It's the grand finale.
You've been great. You've exceeded the normal tenure of 2 years. So why not keep it rolling? I'm going to be.
He's got to get his
I'm
own
gonna be
show.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's why the others leave.
He kind of already had it when he got here, so that's a little different.
Yeah.
He's a veteran. I'm going to be really bummed out if James White doesn't come back because he's my favorite current Patriot. He's probably like top 5 all time for me, and I think it was an especially tough year for him.
Yep.
And I think he still has good football. He has good football left in him. But I just wanted to ask here, saying thanks to you guys for everything this season. I just want to know, Hardy, as I'll take it off, who was Sideshow Bob's favorite Patriot player this year and why?
N'Keal Harry! Boy, he can't separate at all.
Speaking of James White, he had one drop today that just broke my heart. I mean, it was just like,
it was a bad drop for him.
It was a bad drop for anybody, but especially for James White.
Yeah.
Of all the guys you just want to see get to the
It was
offseason.
shocking to see.
He doesn't drop those.
No.
You know who drops those? Edelman. Edelman drops those. And then Edelman makes up for it with 4 catches that he has no business catching.
Right.
He'll drop those and it's fine. By the way, what do we think about Julian Edelman next year? What do you think, Fred?
I got a lot of questions about that in the blog, whether or not he's going to come back. And I mean, he worked so hard. I know he never came back, but I think he could have. And I think he worked hard to get to that point. And I'm thinking, why do all that if you're thinking you're not coming back? So I think he's going to give it another go. Now, is he here? I don't know, but I think he's going to play another year in the NFL.
Well, isn't that the biggest question for Julian is what am I coming back to?
Yeah.
Like, I come back and play for the Patriots, absolutely. To what, though? To who?
Right.
What's the situation going to be?
Right. I think he's going to want to play football next year.
I think
Tampa Bay.
Oh, man.
They lose Chris Godwin. No. I mean, what else is he going to do?
Do you think he's going to want to play next year?
Yeah, I just don't think he'll play here.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll want to play here. Let's put it that way.
I could. When you say Tampa Bay, Deuce, I could as easily see him with the Bucs next year as I could with the Patriots.
I kind of look at him a little like Gilmore in that the contract is not going to be what he wants, and the team is not going to be what he wants. So if he can get somewhere else and play, I'm with Fred.
Yeah.
If not, I think maybe you just
And the production's not what the team wants, so it's hard to see. But I don't know.
That could be a case where for the first time somebody takes less to play somewhere else.
I mean, I just don't think he's done, though. I think he wants to – I don't know what he's searching for to go out on, but I don't think this was it.
Yeah.
No.
I think he loves this too much,
Daniel in the UK. What's up, Daniel? Thanks for staying up late and joining us on the postgame show.
It's not so bad. It's nice to not be staying up until 4:30 in the morning. I just wanted to say earlier you'd mentioned that J.C. Jackson could be demanding a lot of money because he kind of lucked into a lot of picks, or he played well enough and then also happened to get a lot of them. But because he joined us as an unrestricted free agent, doesn't he go our restricted free agent and we can tag him relatively cheap like we did to Butler a few years ago? And the other thing was
right, but then someone could give him an offer sheet. That's the concern.
So you can tag him with even a first-round tender, and you pay him. I think that the money's set there.
Good. It's decent money for him, but someone could offer him, say, a 5-year, $70 million contract, and then you have to decide whether or not you want to, match that offer. And if you don't, you have to let him go. I was trying to get Deuce's attention because Derrick Henry was running 50 yards for touchdowns.
I think he needs 230 today for 2,000.
Yeah, well, he just got 52 with them.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Daniel, thanks
and
for
the other was,
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I was going to say, quarterbacks. Do you think it's worth burning multiple picks on quarterbacks? Because realistically, we're not.
Yeah.
Lower guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
like if you drafted one, if you got one at 15 that you liked, and then all of a sudden you got a developmental guy in the 4th round, sure.
Yeah. Sign one.
It's
draft
kind of
two.
like what Washington did the year that they drafted RG3, and they also drafted Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and look how that
and
worked
look at
out.
ended up being Kirk Cousins was the longtime NFL starter, and RG3 was injured.
Yep.
Pat in Agawam. Wow, pre and post for Cousin Patty. This is great. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Freddie.
Yeah.
I'm on the Hardy bandwagon. You have to bring him back, buddy.
Have to.
He's the
Fred's
best
not going to be bullied
pre-post
into any decisions.
No, he's been in my opinion, he's been the best pre and post game host we've had so far.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
No, I think the consensus between Fred and Paul, if you were to like rank the votes, like give a point total each vote, I think I came in either 3rd or 4th.
No.
If we,
it's changed.
We vote again. But.
It's changed.
All right.
MLB said you have your host right in house. Why are you looking outside?
Ooh.
What about me?
She's gunning. She's gunning for you.
Knives out.
Gunning for that.
Good to know. Good to know.
I got a 2-part Bill Belichick question. I'd written in earlier. I know I called in earlier, but I had a question, and it's for all you guys. And that's, do you see him turning this team over the next 2 off seasons into a serious contender? Which is, they don't have to win the Super Bowl, but let's just say contend for the AFC Championship.
Yes.
When over the next 2 seasons?
Yeah. Yes.
2?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
And my second part is, do you see? And I'm just saying 2022, it's an arbitrary year, 2 seasons, whatever. But when Bill does retire from the sidelines, do you see him maybe after a season or 2 go following kind of like what Parcells did and get a front office job somewhere?
No.
Not here probably, but do you think he's done?
Yeah.
Just done when he's retired?
I think so.
I don't see him in a front office type. I agree with Fred. I think part of the juice for him is that team building on the field aspect, that kind of stuff, the preparation, the game plan, figuring out where the pieces fit, that kind of stuff I think is what drives him. I agree with Freddie on that. I don't see him being strictly
Be an NFL films consultant.
Yeah, some kind of I could see some kind of weird grassroots football
Yeah,
thing,
I could see him do
that
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah, but director, player, person. No, none of that stuff.
Yeah, I you never eliminate anything, but I don't think that's what drives him. I think that it's more the on-field stuff.
Yeah, he's probably going to be at like some random college next weekend working some random dude out. He won't even stop.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, buddy.
Right.
All right. We will step aside. We will come back. We're going to hear from both the head coach and the quarterback as we continue on this Patriots postgame show for a final time this season.
Ready or not. Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
Ready or not. Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
This is the place to play for $1 million in week 1. DraftKings, land of the millionaire. Football is back. Time to let your competitive streak streak. Download the app and take your shot at $1 million. DraftKings.
For over 60 years, this team has transformed itself into a championship organization. For over 160 years, our team has demonstrated a similar mentality. There are no days off. Our front lines are fortified by people who sacrifice individuality for the team. Our shelves are also stocked with the best quality products and ingredients. Our team members know their roles. We're proud to do our jobs. Shaw's, the official supermarket of the 6-time champion New England Patriots.
Ready or not. Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
This is the place to play for $1 million in week 1. DraftKings, land of the millionaire. Football is back. Time to let your competitive streak. Download the app and take your shot at $1 million. DraftKings.
For over 60 years, this team has transformed itself into a championship organization. For over 160 years, our team has demonstrated a similar mentality. There are no days off. Our front lines are fortified by people who sacrifice individuality for the team. Our shelves are also stocked with the best quality products and ingredients. Our team members know their roles. We're proud to do our jobs. Shaw's, the official supermarket of the 6-time champion New England Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Hardy's tough on him.
No.
He's tough on the ones he loves the most.
That's how they know I truly love them.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
You know what the nice thing is here at Patriots Unfiltered and Patriots.com? It is the constant culture of helping each other get better. You know, there's a lot of constructive criticism handed out, you know, from bosses to subordinates, sometimes higher up the ladder. Yeah. You know, sometimes there'll be a subordinate helping out his superior by critiquing his performance on certain things. It's just, it's a very proactive
What the hell are you talking
type of environment here.
When people call, you take the call and then
It's
you
the
hang up on
constant ball busting. It never stops.
Oh, that's true.
When does anyone say good job on that?
That's true.
When's the last time you gave an attaboy to somebody?
Oh, I do that all the time.
Paul?
Fred?
Yeah.
He does. He throws them around like manhole covers, but every once in a while.
All right.
They mean more.
So here's what
It's true, Fred. It does.
Here's what's happening post-game wise for those of you interested in how the rest of the show is going to go. Bill Belichick spoke for 21 minutes in his post-game press conference, which we will not be airing in its entirety. Can we all agree on that? That probably won't happen.
Let's hear the highlights.
Well, we can't until Cam Newton is done talking, and he hasn't started yet.
Okay.
So we are an hour and 17 minutes now after the game. By the way,
I just want to hear Bill and not Cam at all.
Hey, can I just real quick before we make that determination? Evidently, as part of this, we talked in the pregame show. Adam Schefter on ESPN said that Cam won't be back.
Yeah.
Right. Well, evidently, Bill was asked about that report after the game, and Bill got really persnickety and said, "Why don't you ask Adam about that?" To the point where I guess Schefter contacted Reese and said that wasn't a report. It kind of turned into a mess.
well, that's what we talked a little bit about in the pregame when I referenced that, and I said if Schefter actually has that from somebody, okay, that's fine. But when I read it, I said, he's just saying what a lot of people have been saying.
That's the way I took it.
I didn't read it as a report.
No.
So, whatever. All right, so maybe we'll hear the entire Bill Belichick press conference. We don't know. I would like to hear from Cam Newton a little bit today, if it is, in fact, the last time we will hear him speak. I guess maybe I don't know the protocol here. If Cam Newton...
Well, normally there's an open locker room the day after the last game of the season.
So
there might be some availability virtually in the next day or so.
But you wouldn't get Cam Newton in that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting Bill tomorrow morning, and then we don't have the avails yet, but there will be player avails.
Cam won't be on EEI?
Oh, he might be on EEI. They won. He won't be pouting this week, evidently.
Will anybody hear it if he is? You know, that's the other question.
Oh, shots fired.
What? It's a weird one.
That was a rear.
People still getting back to work. They're out of their normal listening habits. I don't know what.
Right.
What?
Yeah. Nice backtrack. Beep, beep, beep.
Boom, boom, roasted.
The
So why don't
point
we
is,
play a little of Bill, and if we decide we've had enough,
we can't until Cam is done.
Oh,
There's
do
only
anything.
one mouse running on one wheel back there. What's that?
If we want to hear from Cam at all, we can't
Yeah,
hear Bill yet.
but chances are we want to hear from Cam. It could be the last time he speaks as a Patriot.
Sure.
But as is the case, you don't quite know when he will go. He just kind of.
I don't know if I could ever get by without hearing about who the nicknames are. What's Asiasi's nickname?
Paul does not want to hear from Cam. Paul would rather hear Bill Belichick.
I have grown tired of the Cam post-game experience, like in Week 5.
Dirty Dave, Smoking Joes, Winnie the Pooh, the Freemasons, you know what I'm saying, the Buzzo, the Berkey, the twin number 1, twin number 2.
Like, I need that.
Sweater 2x4. You know? I got nicknames for everybody.
He went for like a good 25 minutes, I think, last week. On his New Year's Eve availability was super long. So
According to Adam Schefter, the Panthers requested permission to interview Nick Caserio for the general manager job per league source. So that is a league. That is a league.
Now
report.
that's a report.
That's a report.
I mean, that is a report.
Yeah.
Because he says per league source.
Fred, is Josh McDaniels going to be here next year?
You know, another question that was brought up a lot today. Usually we were talking about on our show, you start to hear whispers about stuff like that, and I haven't heard anything.
Nothing.
That's what Paul was saying, too.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, it seems like an unusually quiet year for a guy like him.
Yeah.
So.
Now, it could be happening, and it's just
pick up
being
this
under
week.
wraps, but usually stuff like that leaks out.
Yeah, you get something at this point, and so far nothing. Nothing. William in Tennessee.
It wouldn't be a show without that.
Okay, it's official.
He just locked it up.
It's official. You can come back.
All right, thank you.
Just waiting on that one drop.
Mark in Santa Barbara. What's going on, Mark?
Beautiful.
This is the voice of the ghost of Callers Past.
Oh,
the
no.
story of Scrooge McFred, who refused to pay a poor bumbling fool named Mandy Hart the extra 25 cents an hour he was asking for.
Okay.
Causing him to probably go off.
Yeah. Yeah. What the hell?
Oh, I was waiting for that to turn into a deuce insult right there.
Yeah. I have no idea. Was that a band caller?
No,
we don't. I don't think we really have any band callers.
No, that's what's his name? Jeff.
Oh, I said Mark, but
Mark from
Mark
the Bay.
in the Bay Area.
Yeah, but he
used to
goes
fight-
on
used to
and
fight
on
with
like
Eric
that.
all the
Yeah,
time.
he goes after
He's
Eric.
got a scripted beginning, and then
and it's all shtick.
Yeah.
It's all the bit.
It's all a
You
shtick.
just ruined his book report there.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
See, the longer it goes, what is it? Brevity. Brevity is the soul of wit.
Right.
It's true.
Here's an email from Stefan near Frankfurt, Germany. I simply cannot understand why Newton was allowed to remain a starter after 12 quarters without a touchdown.
Because it all came together in Week 17.
It all came together. I've been a Patriots fan for as long as I've been a football fan, but going from being a playoff team to having a hard time being the perennial bottom dwellers in the league, is a really bitter pill to swallow. Look,
that's where I kind of separate myself from the fans, because what did you expect? Really? Did you expect them to just roll into the playoffs after Brady left? And
yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot of people who thought that
there were a lot of people that did.
Yeah, then we are truly spoiled.
Yeah, you get spoiled after winning the division 10 straight years. You get spoiled going to the Super Bowl seemingly with the same quarterback and coach, but really with three completely separate generations of the teams surrounding them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ludicrous what's going on here over the past 2 decades. So, yeah, I think spoiled is the only lulled you into a false sense of not only security but reality of what the National Football League is.
Yeah.
What we saw over the last 20 years ain't it. You know what it is? This.
Yeah.
A 6-10 or a 7-9, football team, which happens to a lot of teams. Happens to good teams. They have a bad year and they finish.
They were almost like interchangeable.
We had a discussion, Fred, in the pregame whether or not had this team finished 7-9 versus 6-10 5 years from now, does one sound a lot worse than the other? I say 6-10 sounds.
Well, it's
awful.
double-digit loss.
Double-digit loss, yeah.
That's what it is. It's the double-digit loss.
It's whatever you can try to convince your mind that it is, because it's one game difference.
Right.
No matter
it's
what.
not a big deal, but double-digit loss, feels worse. You know.
Yeah, 19-1, 28.
Just like a double-digit win feels better.
And I've seen
18-1, 19-0. What's the difference, right?
Yeah, I've seen Ryan Hannibal speculating. They think
That's
right
a good
now.
argument backed by you, but it's not exactly the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing. It's
one game difference.
It's precisely the same thing. 18-1, 19-0.
But doesn't 10-6 sound so much better than 9-7?
Oh yeah.
It's like 10-6. It's like a world apart. It seems that way,
Yeah.
but it isn't.
All right, you guys are right.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that way to me, but you guys feel that way. I mean,
Cam's going.
I know my
now,
truth.
so.
I know my truth.
So according to Hannibal, though, it sounds like, and I'm not sure why, but he said he believes the Patriots will have number 14 overall if the 49ers beat the Seahawks. If the 49ers lose, they'll be 15th overall. That's Ryan Hannibal from your station, WEI there.
Do you care about 15 versus 13?
15 just sounds so much better.
Wow. Oh.
So this is going to be what irks him now for the rest of the month.
Why does it have to irk me?
I don't know, but you know what? I'm going to start handing out nicknames like Cam. You're Irky.
Oh, he's the great
I'm
white
either going to
snark.
call you Irky or Babs.
Yeah,
You get
Irky.
to choose.
Irky.
Irky, okay.
Babs. It's the great white snark. If you're going to do it right.
That's right. All right, Dan in Virginia up next here on the Patriots Postgame Show. What's up, Dan?
Henry's already up to 116 yards.
Red Zone Paul.
First off, allow me to add my voice to the chorus of calling for Hardy to be brought back.
Drawn and quartered.
Not only because he has-
I thought you were executed.
For your call.
Let's send him a
Not
D
only
virgin.
because he has the good taste and decency to be a Spartans fan, but there's a lot of big personalities in the PU crew, and you guys have kind of got a bit of an established dynamic, and it's hard for someone to come in and fit in, but also bring their own thing to it, and Hardy does that. So
Thank you, Dan. It's a lot of egos in this room. There's a lot of inside jokes. You just got to.
There are a lot of inside jokes. I don't think there are a lot of egos in this room.
And by inside joke, Jaws references. That's
Big-
that's as inside as it gets.
Right.
Big egos.
But two questions. Cam threw a couple of nice sort of intermediate to deep throws, one of them being the touchdown pass to Asiasi. And, we had a touchdown pass to Asiasi and a receiving touchdown by Sony Michel, which I think signals the apocalypse is upon us, so it's been nice knowing you. But why haven't those deep to intermediate throws been more of a part of this offense, given that Cam looks a lot more comfortable throwing those than the shorter stuff? And my other question is, has Devin McCourty had a sneaky bad, or at least sneaky kind of mediocre, kind of year? I feel like I've seen him doing a lot of chasing or a lot of getting run over by somebody.
I think he struggled.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
It's a third down play today. I think he gave up coverage as well.
Yeah. Dan, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
It was also a deep ball that went right through Herndon's hands that he was in coverage on down the sideline. I think it was shortly before the pick in the end zone.
What was his first? What was the first
The intermediate,
question?
I just think a lot of people are going to talk about the passing production today and wonder why it wasn't.
Right.
Now it's Josh's fault. Like, why didn't they call more of this stuff? Because he didn't complete it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And you saw today at times where he wasn't overly accurate with some of those throws today, even today on a good day.
Yeah.
And think of all the times that Cam sat there and looked and looked. Those are your intermediate passes that he turned away, that he turned down.
That's exactly right. And that's, what are the short passes? Those are the quick decision, quick release, know where you want to go with the ball, and that's what's been hard for him. But, the down the field stuff where he's got a minute, he can see it, the guy is open. I mean, there's been so many times where you see a guy, he's not open, and then, wait for him, and then he gets sacked. So I think it's just a function of him in this offense and not having the clock to do what needs to be done.
I could be absolutely wrong, but I don't pin this on Josh McDaniels.
No, I think Josh has had.
I don't.
In a lot of ways, I thought he had a really imaginative year. Just in trying. Now, did they all work? No. There were definitely times that we were like, what are we doing? Like, why did they do that there? But I'm sorry.
There's always going to be those.
They had to run another pass back from the wide receiver, and it's wide open, and it's a touchdown. The Sony Michel touchdown today, could you be any more wide open than – that's Josh. I'm sorry. Like, that's part of what Bill and Josh did during the course of the week to understand what they could do against the Jets.
Right.
Like, that's not easy to do when you don't have any weapons. And I think that they did a decent job. Why couldn't they do it more? Because they can't. They're not capable of doing it more.
I mean, there was one point today even on their best offensive game in a long time, where Josh just walked back to the bench just shaking his head because he just can't.
It's like Hardy said. You went from that first touchdown and then the second drive all the way to basically the end of the third quarter, doing nothing in between.
Right.
And then they caught fire and scored 3 straight touchdowns.
Yeah.
Mark C. is in Dumbarton in Scotland. He says, I know a win is a win, but literally what was the point of winning that game? I get players want to do their best, but trick plays to get a touchdown to win a game that just moves you down in the draft order? That's the difference between 7-9 and 6-10, Mark. I got to tell you, they didn't want to be 6-10.
Yeah,
I'm with you though. Like, I mean, now we're like questioning why teams are trying to win.
Yeah,
we've gotten to the point where we're questioning why they're trying.
So what do you tell your players? Don't really try today.
Yeah,
see, you can't do that.
They've been consistent. That's what the coaches, and that's what all the players said this week. It's like we're preparing right now like we're going to the playoff. It's like every week is exactly the same, and I think that's all they know, and I think that's what helps them through times during the regular season when they actually are still in it. Nothing changes. They just keep the process going. They try to improve, and it didn't work. It didn't progress this year, but they don't change their mindset at all.
To me, that's a question more for the Jets 2 weeks ago. What are you doing winning that game?
But I say the same thing for them. It's like, how do you tell your players to go out there and lose?
I don't think you can tell the players. I think
can't.
It's got to be done from like a coaching level or an administrative level, an ownership level.
But imagine
almost.
because somebody said that. Well, you don't have to tell them to lose, but you just play it vanilla, so you don't give them a chance. How is that going to resonate in your locker room?
Right.
What, by not giving your players a chance?
And for all you know, that was as vanilla as it gets.
Right.
I mean,
they did it better than the Jets.
I know they threw a pass back to the quarterback, and that was one trick play, but there was nothing tricky about a swing pass out to Sony Michel where the Jets didn't cover him.
Right.
There was nothing tricky about that. Like, it was a lot of easy stuff. They ran the ball. And they did a lot of quick, easy stuff.
I think I went on this rant earlier in the season on this show, but these guys are humans besides being professional athletes. And, this is their livelihood. They don't want to be looked like idiots out there.
Right.
They have pride.
Mm-hmm. And we have to come up with, there's a couple of different designations, whether they're gadget plays or trick plays, but there has to be different levels. When you see them 5-6 times a year, are they still trick plays or are they just plays? They're just plays.
Yeah. Well, like I would say that about like the jet sweep action and some of those things. Those are like in the NFL, those are prevalent like every week. Yeah. Those are no longer trick plays. They used to be.
Yeah.
The little, shotgun snap, they throw it forward to the guy coming around the little pass.
Right.
Those are no longer trick plays. Right. A pass back to the quarterback, that's a trick play.
A sneak
if you're
on
throwing the ball twice on a play. That's trick.
Yeah, a sneak.
Even though they've done it every week in some different kind of variation. Like last week, it was Sony sort of throwing the ball backwards to Cam, so Cam could throw it down the field. Yeah. This week, it was flipping it around to Myers so he could throw it back to Cam. Yeah. They're variations of the same kind of concept.
Throwing it to a fullback who's actually a linebacker. Trick play.
High risk, high reward plays.
Yeah, fake punt. That's a trick play.
That's trick.
Fake punt, trick play.
That's
Absolutely.
a trick play. All right.
Seemed like a little extra attention on that today. With the,
well,
with the fake punts.
I was in full snark mode, and I was like, first punt of the day, I was like, huh. And Eric looks at me, I go, yeah, they're choosing to cover the Gunners today. The last 2 weeks, that was optional.
Let's go to, the Show Me State of Nebraska. Go ahead. No, it's the Good Life. Excuse me. The Good Life in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Matthew, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I wasn't able to watch the game, unfortunately, because I am out of market, so I can only watch the highlights. But apparently, didn't do too bad. And I was going to call into the pregame, but wasn't able to. And I was going to have a bold prediction of a Patriots tight end getting a touchdown. So I guess at least that came true.
Okay.
All right.
And I think a good evidence to kind of support bringing Hardy back, because I spent like the last hour just trying to call in. It was just busy. So. I don't know. He must be doing something right.
He's doing something right.
He's hanging up on you every time.
Oh, he's doing something all right.
It's because my wife is from Nebraska, and we have a large contingency of Nebraska callers.
Oh, yeah? The irony of someone in the Show Me State not being able to watch the game.
But it's not. It's the
Missouri.
Good Life. Missouri is the Show Me State. Yeah, I messed that up. The Good Life.
Nebraska is the Good Life.
The Good Life.
Do you know all the state's mottos? Is that your thing?
No, but my son is learning the capitals right now, and I was appalled.
Montpelier.
I was appalled at how few capitals I knew.
Oh, really?
Like
Well,
off the top of my
I
head.
could go 50 for 50 on that.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
wow, good, Paul.
Why didn't you bring this up in like pregame 2 weeks ago when we were really stuck?
Because it's useless.
North Dakota.
Bismarck.
Bismarck. I think he's right. Yeah.
Maryland.
Wow. You really put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Maryland.
Lansing. No.
Annapolis.
Very good.
All right. We're not going to get it. Come on.
No, we're going to do all 50.
He somehow hit me with one that I wasn't quite sure of.
Mo in New Jersey, you're on the post-game show. What's up, Mo?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm wondering if it's too early to start the QB speculation for next year.
No. Week 2 we were talking about.
Not too early.
Well, I think you guys have always gone with the premise that Stidham doesn't have it because if he did and Cam was so bad, they would have put Stidham in.
Yeah.
But my hypothesis is that I think they got Cam here on the $1 million contract because Bill Belichick promised him, you'll be our quarterback as long as you're healthy. We'll give you a year to prove yourself so you can go out and try and get a contract for yourself. And I think that, that hypothesis fits all the evidence. I don't think we've seen enough of Stidham to know. I mean, we haven't seen him in a game. So that's my hypothesis, and I'm wondering if you guys are curious enough to ask Bill Belichick at
Don't hang up on him.
Okay.
So, first of all, I think it's a very plausible scenario, and it's one Fred and I and Deuce have talked about a lot during the course of the weeks, over the course of the season, right? That he felt like he owed him one. That's what he sort of agreed to. I'll give you the season. You don't have to look over your shoulder. As long as you're healthy, as long as you can play, you'll get a chance to rehab your career here. But I want to ask you this, caller. As a Patriots fan, you say we haven't found out about Stidham. And if that's true, we haven't found out about Stidham. How do you feel about that if Bill made that kind of an agreement with a quarterback? No matter how badly you play, you'll play.
As a fan, I was a fan that we got Cam at that price. I mean, if we paid Tom $25 million or someone else that equivalent amount, where would we be in terms of the rest of the team? You get a starting quarterback for $1 million and have a chance to play well. And frankly, I think the first couple of weeks we were.
No, but I want to ask the question again because I think you missed my point.
No, I heard it.
He couldn't play the position at any lower level than he did for 15 games. He was the worst starting quarterback in football, and yet he stuck by this supposed deal behind the scenes. Does that make you angry as a Patriots fan? Because it would make me angry.
Well, are you angry
I don't
that
think he did with his best interest?
Are you angry that he made the deal or that he stuck with it?
Both. Because making the deal isn't in the best interest of the team, and he always tells me he does what's in the best interest of the team.
Mo, thanks for the call.
Making side deals with players so they sign for less is not in the best interest of my team.
We got to go. Mo, I'm sorry, we got to go because we're trying to get to Cam.
And that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, and we're trying to get to Bill. But the fact that the notion that Bill would sit down before the start of the season and say, no matter what, you're the quarterback, you've already lost me. I don't believe it. I don't believe that conversation.
I think he
took
felt
place.
like he owed him something because of the circumstances that he signed in, but I don't think
no matter how bad you look.
I don't think he owed him starting time every game.
And it's just as plausible to think that not only did he feel he owed it to him, but Stidham's no better.
Right. All right, we'll step. Oh no, we're going to go to the coach right now. Excuse me. Thank you. I knew we were up against it here. Big thank you to our sponsor, Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots. Provides players and coaches the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the amazing Surface Pro 7 2-in-1 laptop on their site, surface.com. Here's the head coach.
Start by saying how proud I was of our team today, not only today but all year, and certainly this week. We had a disappointing couple of weeks here, but these guys came back and really bounced back. Had a good week of practice, had a good week of focus, and played competitively today. It's always good to see some of the plays that we execute in practice be executed well in the game situations. We had some of those today. Obviously, the turnovers were a big part of the game, not turning the ball over. And and getting 2 turnovers. So that was good. We played pretty good situational football, scored in the red area, had a red area stop, converted better on 3rd down. So, those things were those were helpful. But, ultimately it was, I thought a good, good field position day for us in the kicking game with the returns and the punting, kickoff coverage. So overall felt like we had a little advantage there. But again, just proud of the way that the team and the players competed this week. We had several guys that didn't play, David and Shaq and Therese and Jen Aidensbauer, a bunch of linebackers on defense. And so, Chase came back in after he hurt his hand and had it clubbed up and, finished the game. So, things like that. We go right down the roster, right down the line, but just a lot of examples of toughness, competitiveness, guys that love playing football. And, I just have a lot of respect for coaches and the players, the members of this team. Obviously, the results this year weren't what we had hoped for, but doesn't change my appreciation for their efforts and again what they tried to do. So, guys like Cody Davis and John Bentley, LG, Lawrence Guy, were banged up. Had some guys playing on the offensive line that, hadn't. Corey, played most of the second half of tackle. Hasn't played much this year. So, some guys that got an opportunity to play, and not that was the goal. They were forced into it, but in a way, their hard work and all paid off, and at least gave them an opportunity to do that. And it was good to end a disappointing season on a positive note, but that still isn't. Certainly not where we wanted to be here at the end of the year. But today was today, and all we could do was control today. And so, again, I appreciate all the players and the way the team performed. Thought Cam's given us a lot of leadership all day. Certainly gave it to us today. The first run and getting the ball in the end zone. So that was a. Again, just part of the leadership that he's given us, all year, especially with, Andrews out and, being a little shorthanded there offensively. So, I don't really have any, anything to say about next year. We just got finished with the game. We, but we head into the game, so I'm not gonna talk about anything, beyond today, because I'm not prepared to talk about it.
We'll go ahead and open up with questions. We're going to start with Dan Roach, followed by Yanni Caracas.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Dan.
Just maybe how happy were you to see a guy like Cam rewarded with 3 touchdown passes and even a touchdown reception after the work that he had put in coming into a new system, dealing with COVID, and maybe the numbers didn't show up. You've talked about how hard he's worked this year. How happy were you to see him have that kind of day?
Yeah, well, look, I'm happy to see anybody have a good day. That's what we work for, and these guys work hard. They put in a lot of physical effort, a lot of mental effort, a lot of group effort, and so it's always rewarding to see positive results, whether it be Cam or Sony or our offensive line or John Jones or Adam Butler or anybody. It doesn't, I'm happy for all of them. So. It was just good to see the team respond in all 3 phases, and I thought we played competitively. It wasn't certainly perfect. There was things we could have done better for sure, but I thought they competed well and played competitively in all 3 phases, and so I'm proud of the team for that.
Next question, Yanni Caracas, followed by Doug Kyed.
Hey, Bill, when you usually lose in the playoffs, there's a brutal finality to it all. You don't know when it's coming. In this situation, are you sort of at peace where things are because you knew going into this game that this was your last game? So you can be proud of the performance today, but as you said, look back and still have disappointment on what transpired over the 16 games?
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, that's pretty much sums up the feelings. Yep.
If I could have a quick follow, there was a report on ESPN today that there's an understanding between you and Cam Newton that you'll be going in different directions this offseason. Is there an understanding that this was Cam's final game?
Yeah. Well, is that another one of your anonymous reports?
That was from Adam Schefter this morning.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Adam said. You should talk to Adam about that then.
Thanks.
Great question.
Next
Thank
question,
you.
Doug Kyed, followed by Jim McBride.
Hey, Bill, we know Jacoby's history at quarterback, but when did the team develop trust in him to throw the ball in games?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, he's, always been able to throw the ball. Julian's been able to throw it. I mean, guys that played quarterback, previously in their career, it's, even if they throw the ball back to the, the ball boy at the line of scrimmage after they catch a pass, I mean, you sort of notice it. So, had an opportunity to use some of those plays.
And just one quick follow. Sony had a big day in the passing game. How much have you seen him develop that aspect of his game this season?
Yeah, I think Sony really, probably developed more of it, after his rookie year. But, he works hard at the passing game. Fortunately, we were able to get the ball out to him in space a couple times. And sometimes that's a lot easier than, having to block a lot of guys and get through the line of scrimmage. So, those passes that give the backs the ball with, an opportunity to run with it, or those are good opportunities. I know backs love those, so they can, see fewer defenders and see more space. But yeah, no, it was good.
Thank you. Next question, Jim McBride, followed by Phil Perry.
Hi, Coach. I wanted to ask you about Chase Winovich's performance today. He seemed like he brought a lot of energy and had a lot of effect on Darnold.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I thought Chase played hard like he always does, and brought some good pressure, some inside pressure on the quarterback. With Josh Uche out, and Chase stepped up, and Rashad Berry stepped up, and played some for us too. So overall we had decent pressure on the quarterback, forced him out of the pocket a couple times, and at least knocked him down a couple times there, and created some longer yardage situations. So yeah, those are positives. But Chase plays hard all the time, and plays usually plays on all four phases of the kicking game. Sometimes we pull him off one, or but usually he's at least three phases, a lot of times four. So he's a kid that has a lot of versatility for us, and certainly the pass rush was a good, that was good for us today from him and like I said, Adam and Dietrich and Rashad. So those guys all helped us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next question, Phil Perry, followed by Mike Reese.
All right. So we heard the question in there about Adam Schefter's comments before the game started today about Cam Newton, whether or not he would be back. Bill Belichick was quick to point out, I don't think that's what he said in terms of a report, and said you should ask Adam about that, which is pretty much what we said. When Schefter speaking, kind of like his opinion.
Right. And you guys read the report, right? Like I didn't remember seeing anything, because I didn't read the actual report.
Definitely wasn't an agreement.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything about an agreement between Belichick and Cam
we're good.
that they would part ways.
No.
So I agree wholeheartedly with the way Bill answered the question. Yeah. Like, I don't think Adam said that. I don't think he did either. like whether it's a report or not is kind of irrelevant. He didn't say that.
Right.
Like, whatever he did report didn't include there was an agreement between Bill and Cam that they would part ways.
Right.
Unless I missed it.
No, that's not what I saw either. But everything I didn't see actually Adam Schefter say it. So I don't know. But that's not how I took it either.
No, and I mean Belichick is obviously, not going to, suffer through anybody who is putting words into his mouth or anyone else's mouth when it comes to personnel decisions on the team. So, yeah, I can't blame him for being a little surly at that one. How about Cam Newton? Will this be the last time Cam Newton speaks as a Patriot? We will hear from the Patriots quarterback when we come back to wrap up the Patriots postgame show.
Wow! You gotta see the stats on that one! Our shot at a TD, 14%. Defender distance, decimals. My only out, zero gravity, 6 points. Next gen stats powered by AWS.
My Caleb Sofin love seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes. You look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount!
Please, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, it should fit. It should fit.
The take it back for something smaller with the CarMax 7-day money-back guarantee way. Whatever your way, that's the way car buying should be.
How do we inspire people to lead their healthiest lives? How do we bring everyone together so that healthcare finally works for all of us? We know how. We are the how. Optum. How well gets done.
Wow! You gotta see the stats on that one! Our shot at a TD, 14%. Defender distance, decimals. My only out, zero gravity, 6 points. Next gen stats powered by AWS.
My Caleb Sofin love seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes. You look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount!
Please, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, it should fit. It should fit.
The take it back for something smaller with the CarMax 7-day money-back guarantee way. Whatever your way, that's the way car buying should be.
How do we inspire people to lead their healthiest lives? How do we bring everyone together so that healthcare finally works for all of us? We know how. We are the how. Optum. How well gets done.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
My first question for you, Fred. Where'd you get your haircut?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Patriots get the win today, 28-14. Cam Newton, 3 touchdown passes today. He also had a touchdown reception. Let's hear from the Patriots quarterback here in the postgame show.
I don't think that was necessarily more or less about me than a great team win, and we wanted just to start the year off in a great way that we knew we needed to and knew we could. So.
And just a quick follow-up: do you anticipate being back here in New England next season?
Listen, I have my desires. I know where my heart's at. I know. The things that, who I am. But as far as that, I can't really speak on that right now. But just my whole time here in New England has just been a blessing. I've learned so much about myself, about the great teammates, unbelievable coaching. And, so I just see how it goes, and, we'll go from there.
Thanks, Cam.
Next question, Dan Roach, followed by Michael Hurley.
Cam, what was it like to throw or see a camp attendee throw a touchdown pass to a camp counselor today? What was that like for you?
I was teasing with him. I was like, listen, I'd just like to thank my hands for really catapulting us and giving us the momentum, to win. You know what I'm saying? But Jacoby's great, man. We had fun throughout this whole season with this game. And, for the guys to battle back, not even to blink, going down 7 points here the early part of the second half. And, guys, just kept plugging away and found a way to win.
Tara Sullivan's next, followed by Michael Hurley.
Hey, Cam. Devon Asiasi is a guy that we don't really know that well, being remote and everything, but you finally get him his first catch and then the first touchdown. And it seemed like you made a point to run down there and celebrate with him. How important is it for you to be a part of guys' lives and careers, parts they remember for the rest of their lives?
Well, for one, he's still young, and there was a growing element, a part of his season, and just for him to go headed into the off season with a game like today, is a great step in the right direction for a Acai Bowl, and for him to make a great catch for the touchdown, it's something that he needs to keep doing, and he will keep doing. He has so much talent, shows so much flashes in practice, and it's great just to see it. Great for you to see it in the game.
Next question, Tara Sullivan, followed by Chris Ryan.
Hi, Cam. I don't want to read your body language, but you just look very joyful out there today. So I was just wondering if you could describe how you felt at different points in that game, if you were joyful. And I'll leave it at that.
You sure?
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it like this. There was nothing, no one, nothing that was going to get me out of the spirit that I was in. And I don't know what it was, but I had a great manifesting party. New Year's Eve, going into the New Year's, and that was kind of what I kind of foreshadowed. So for you to kind of visualize it and for it to come into play as it did, means I should have been doing more of that this year, right? But yeah.
Next question, Chris Ryan, followed by Chelsea McDonald.
Hey, Cam. On the drive, and you guys are down 14-7, end up tying the game. Take me through your mindset on that. You had the big third down that you ran for that, obviously the catch from Jacoby Myers, and kind of what Tara was saying too. It just seemed like you're having fun a lot out there, and has that been missing this year to some extent?
Sometimes, because you were thinking. But today, everything meshed in ways that we wanted it to mesh. Obviously we hit a lull there, but we knew we just needed to keep going and keep plugging away, and that's what we did. So, success brings a different swagger and a different comfort, and obviously scoring touchdowns, back-to-back touchdowns, will kind of do it for anybody.
And when you went into the locker room after the game, was there, a sense of finality at all in how you were kind of going through things from a mental standpoint, or what was your overall mindset post-game with the guys?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, we played this game to win, but, our season is done. We got the talent in that locker room to be still, playing for a playoff berth and making a deep run in the playoffs. So, that's the realization of things of what we can possibly do. We can, what we're capable of, but, we just didn't show it enough this year. And, but yet through it all, we did finish strong today.
Next question, Chelsea McDonald, followed by Ian Steele.
Hi, Cam. When you look back on this year, obviously you didn't get all of the results that you wanted on the field, but what are you most proud of, and do you think that things could have gone differently if you had more time to learn the Patriot system?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. I think one of the main things for me this year was a small but yet important thing for me was just to finish healthy. And I think that was one of the most frustrating things for me, was that I was healthy and still not getting the results that I was yearning for. But, through it all, my shoulder held up, foot held up, mental held up. I had nicks and bruises, but who doesn't have any nicks and bruises in the NFL? But nothing lingering enough to stop me. So, I'm going to take that as a blessing and just build on it in the offseason.
All right, there's quarterback Cam Newton after today's 28-14 win over the Jets at Gillette Stadium. He was asked right off the bat whether or not he thought he was going to be here next year. He says he has his desires, but he's going to have to see how everything plays out. Did you feel anything? Did you read into anything about what he said? Did you hear something else in between the words there, Mike?
I don't know. I get it. Just my opinion, I get a general feeling of this was it. I just feel a little bit resigned. I think he's happy that they finished on a positive note. They got a win. I think he's happy for his teammates. And, once again, Cam says all the right things. But I don't know. Just if I had to read between the lines, I'd feel like this was kind of the end of it.
My reading between the lines is he's another one that just wants to play football.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't want to burn any bridges. If they want me back, I'll be back. If not, I want to play somewhere.
Right, and he doesn't want to be perceived as any kind of a problem.
No.
If he is leaving by other teams that may be looking at him.
Yeah,
so
he wants to play football.
Yeah, and I don't think he would be perceived as that. He won the Good Guy Award.
Yep.
What else?
The Ron Hobson Good Guy Award.
Yeah. What else could a player want with this season?
Hi, guy.
Paul, what'd you make of that?
Yeah, pretty much what you guys both said, Mike and Fred. I would agree that I think he has done and said the right things virtually at every turn all year. I think he did again there, and he doesn't want to close any doors, and he just wants to keep playing. I think staying healthy, as he said, was important to him, and he did. He showed the league that he could stay healthy. Now I think the onus is going to be on him to decide not only where he wants to go, but what he's looking for, because I'm not sure that someone's going to offer him what he wants in terms of A, a starting job, and B, a contract that's commensurate with a starting job. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get either one of those guaranteed.
Fred, in the pregame, we talked about where we thought all the AFC East teams were at the beginning of the season, what they ended up being. For the Patriots specifically, if you can remember back, what did you think this season was going to be like for them, and how different is the result?
Oh, yeah, I thought they'd have a winning record. 10-6, I think, was the ceiling for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there were plenty of people who said it was still, 12-4, 11-5. You got Belichick and you got the tomato can AFC East, and I never felt that way. I thought the Jets would be better than they were, but Dolphins right there where I thought they would be, and the Bills are even better. So, for the Patriots to finish, it's disappointing. And I thought, 500 was probably – like maybe the low end. I didn't really think 7-9, but it's only one off. But 9-7, but the ceiling of 10-6 right in there in that 3-game span. So yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Sure.
Yeah. And if you got that Denver one, I think that's that's a 500 team. That's the one that we're kind of didn't think they would find a way to lose, but. And they got I guess one, maybe Baltimore. They probably
won a couple
gotten,
that I didn't think they would win. And that was the spotlight one.
I think
Baltimore.
They ended up where they should have been.
That's it.
After,
7-9.
When you
I think they
at the
got
team.
a lot out of what they had. I don't think that I'm not going to go with Bill Belichick best coaching job ever, which I've heard a little of that. I don't think that this has been a great year for the coach himself and his staff. But I think they got every ounce of what there was to get out of that collection. I think they did.
I don't think
well to go 7-9.
At least on this show, we've never questioned their effort.
No.
And they kept fighting till the end, and they just didn't have it for a lot of reasons. There were just so many factors into this season, and there's so much to consider. Not to make excuses, but there was, and it was a whole new year for them, and. Hopefully we look back as that was the COVID year. We got that out of the way, and hopefully they can get back on track and start to build towards something next year.
Now you guys will continue throughout the offseason with Patriots Unfiltered.
Oh yeah, every Tuesday and Thursday.
But when we all reconvene here for hopefully, I don't know, we'll see if the whole crew's back. But let's say we were all back here doing post game.
Begging at this point.
No, post game after preseason game number 1.
Wow, I hope.
Okay. What will we be talking about? The major or even preseason game number 1 in the pregame. Wow, what a crazy offseason with what will happen. Yeah. What if you had to guess right now, Deuce, what's going to be the main story of this Patriots offseason?
I hope it's how soon is this young quarterback going to be ready?
Yeah,
that's what I hope.
It's got to be quarterback related, right? I don't know if it's going to be a young guy that we're saying, oh, he showed some promise. Can't wait to see him in his first preseason game tonight, or welcome Carson Wentz or Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
I think I mean what I would hope for, and I also happen to think is the most likely scenario. We're going to be sitting here talking about wow, last year we had this whole competition going on between a young quarterback and a veteran, and here we have it again, only with 2 new players, with someone that they've drafted and a veteran that they've picked up in the offseason.
Yeah,
that's what I think they're probably hoping to do, and that's what I
my hope is sign somebody and draft somebody.
Right,
but I don't want drafting somebody in the 3rd round does nothing for me. Need a significant draft pick.
All right. Yeah. I just want you guys on record right now. Last question: who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I am going to say Kansas City. I do think that they could have a stumble, and I think that they've been inconsistent this year. But I also think they've just been bored, and they're waiting to turn it on. They've got home field advantage. I think there are some teams that could give them a chance, give them a challenge. But I think it's going to be them again.
Fred.
Ah, boy.
Just to be different, I'm going to say Buffalo and Green Bay in the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
oh, that'd be fun.
That's
just to
fun.
be different. I think Deuce is right. I think Kansas City's been a little bored for the last several weeks. But I'm going to say Buffalo has the offense to stay with Kansas City and give them a run. And Green Bay looks to me like the class of the NFC.
Yeah, I think Green Bay's going to win it.
Okay. I'll say Baltimore just because I want Paul to like me. He loves that Baltimore team. Yeah, he loves that Baltimore team.
Yeah, I mean, I think they may have run for 400 yards today.
Wow. All right. Well, it's been great, guys. Great season doing the shows anyway. It's been an interesting one for the Patriots. I got to say that. That was my one prediction that did hold true. That it was going to be compelling and interesting. Different things to talk about this year. Man, did we have different things to talk about this year than we have not in the past. So you guys will be back at it next week. For everyone on the pre- and post-game shows, Matt LePan, Matt Morrell, Megan O'Brien, everybody on the tech side, and Mike Dussault, Fred Kirsch, Paul Perillo. It's been a pleasure once again. Final score for the final time, 28-14. Patriots win today over the New York Jets at Gillette Stadium to finish the season 7-9. Thanks, guys.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.